Good afternoon, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Let's pay our respects to the Buddha before we proceed.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Good afternoon, Dr. Ng. And we are now on the fourth lesson of Ānāpānasati. We have a couple of questions here. Someone asked last week if she is used to observing the breath through the rising and falling of abdomen, is that okay? Or sometimes switch between the abdomen and in front of the face because of her habit.
Okay, I think there's this tendency because of previous conditioning. So this method, Ānāpānasati, the 16 steps, the Buddha says very clearly that is parimukha. So if you want to try this out, you can recondition yourself to parimukha. That means the face only. It's good to be in the face because you always put your best face forwards. So I want to suggest another way whereby you can sort of like recondition yourself. So I'd like to introduce you to this sutta, and you can go and read it. It is 47:20. This 47:20 is called the most beautiful girl in the land. I'm not certain whether you're a girl or man. So you can consider, if you're a girl, then you consider the most handsome man in the land. And if you are a male, then you consider this as the most beautiful girl in the land. So what did the Buddha say? The Buddha said that in this particular sutta, how you should actually have mindfulness of the body. He says that you must have mindfulness of the body as if you have a pot of hot oil on your head. Okay, on your head, and that there's this most beautiful person standing in front of you, between you and the crowd. Okay, dancing away. If you are to spill a drop of oil from the container, then your head will be chopped. So guess what? How do you need to position your head? No, that you don't drop the oil, don't spill the oil. Your head must be upright. So if you like to think of that posture that you should have, then you would want to put your head upright and don't spill the oil. And then when you want to try mindfulness in front of you, imagine that you are looking at the mirror. When you look at the mirror, you don't look down, right? You look at the mirror. So when you look at the mirror, whether there's any blemishes on your face, you look straight at the mirror. So your this mindfulness is in front of you. So your head posture is upright. Then there's another sutta that says, when Sariputta was asked that he was rather mindful around, walking around and getting the alms food, Sariputta says, I never look down and I don't look up. I don't look down because I don't read palms. I don't look up because I don't look at the stars. So I think if you put all this in your mind to try to recondition your practice, to try to do Ānāpānasati at the Parimukha area, mindfulness in front of you. And also the other thing I would like to say 4. This is your 5 senses, 6 senses in fact. Your eyes, nose, tongue, ears, body, and head. If you don't guard yourself here, then where would you like to guard? So when you practice mindfulness of the abdomen, it's good because you can get, as long as you see impermanence, it's good. And many of the secular mindfulness practice says that as long as you know where is the breathing in and breathing out, that's all is important. But since we want to be authentic, we want to listen to what the Buddha says. And he says, put mindfulness in front of you. He says, Parimukha. So we try to practice according to what he said, so that we can be more closer to the original teaching. So you try. You know the habits, we can always teach old dogs new tricks. And then you can also know that this is here, up here, is where you want to notice the breath. When you get sick, you don't want to look below. You just want to be with your breath. So you might as well practice earlier. That's all I have to say. So got 5 points already.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. We have about 4 or 5 questions here.
Okay.
Someone asked if I seem to get stuck at the first tetrad, step 3 or 4, as my mind keeps drifting away, and I have to keep getting my mind to come back to the breath. I'm unable to get to second tetrad of feeling bodily pleasure. What should I do?
Okay, so this is all about disciplining. Okay, all this is disciplining. So if you are at exercise, the teacher asks you move here, you move here, right? You want to do what Tai Chi movements, Da Si Gua, and then but cut into half. You do those movements because there is an instructor. So where is the instructor? The instructor is the Buddha's teachings. And he says, step 1, do this, step 2, do that, step 3, do this, step 4, do this. So you follow the steps. When you do mindfulness of breathing for the body, you stay on just breathing in and breathing out, breathing in and breathing out. So it's just training the person. So after some time, you will enjoy it. So after a while, once you know that, remember the teaching, MN118, he says bodily formation is breathing in and out. So there's a body. Then after that, you go to the feelings. Now, we are at any point of time in a contact. For example, the 12 DO. So this is the first question. The second question says that you can't proceed. But I want to tell you that when we contact something, we have feeling. This is according to the 12 dependent conditionality. That it is because of contact that we have a feeling. Right. So we want you to contact breathing. So at every contact, there are the 5 aggregates. Now, if I ask you to contact your favorite fruits or food, that now we take the 6th sense base. So what appears before you is the body, the mind, object, the body of your fruit. Now your feelings, now your perception, this is your fruit. Oh, this is nice, I'm going to get it. So you are conscious of this. So you have the 5 aggregates acting. So when you contact this, we want you to completely focus on the body part. That means breathing in long and breathing out long, and then breathing in short and breathing out short. So you just get to the hang of the long and the short of it. Then the third step is you just let go and experience what is breathing. So you follow from the beginning to the end, the pause. So the bodily formation, we want you to quiet down. The Buddha says, quiet down the bodily formation. So you say, calm. So when you calm down this, then the other 5 aggregates appear. The other 4 aggregates appear. So then the feelings come, the perception, the mental formations will appear more. So each contact has the 5 aggregates. So now you learn about the body already. Now you shift your focus to the feelings. So you just need to just breathe in and out, because the breathing in and out, the bodily formation is now quiet already. Then the feelings, you ask, what is the feelings? The feelings are there all along. So you just say, what are the feelings of just breathing in and out on the body? And then you will find, because you ask the question, you feel the body, the feelings of the body is like that. When you just do breathing in and breathing out. So then you also notice that is pleasant in the mind if it is just breathing in and out. Then after that, the mental formations of the feelings and the perception of the breathing, you are to experience it. And you now can differentiate. There is the breathing in and out, the bodily formation, which is quiet down. Then now you have the mental formations. You can see it separate. The bodily formation, breathing in and out, and then the feelings, the mental formations that move like the winds, blow from one to the other side. And then you just experience it, having the breathing in and out as your anchor point. So then you just look at your feelings, at your mental formation. Then you need to quiet down the mental formation to see your consciousness and your mind. So then when you say quiet, you must see it quiet, then you see the mind. So all this require discipline. So you have to do training. If you don't do training, which is just requiring you to direct your mind to your breathing. If you go somewhere else, go back again. So we want to describe the mind to you. So in the Dhammapada 37, it says that the mind wanders far. You can think of London and you are in London. London Bridge, you are in London Bridge. Right? And that it wanders alone. Wanders alone. And wanders alone, bodiless. Without the body. The mind is not the body, It's bodiless. And then it rests in a cave. When it rests in a cave. Then subsequently, he says, if you can subdue your mind, then you will be out of the bonds of Mara. So you have to subdue your mind. So how to subdue your mind? Say, go back to your breathing. You are doing bodily formation. So you just train your mind again and again and again. 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Dogs also require training. Elephants, tigers, lions can be tamed. So can we. So we just need to be disciplined. So the Buddha's teaching, he tells us in the Mahaparinibbana that let the Dhamma and the discipline. It's not only the Dhamma, no. You have to have the discipline to practice the Dhamma. If you have no discipline, Dhamma is just pure talk. So the Dhamma must be applied through the discipline. You have to be again and again practicing. Sometimes we fall down, we get up, So never mind, we must try. You do it again and again, you will be able to get it. Rome is not built in one day, so you have to just practice, practice, and practice. So you will be able to get it. So the Buddha says, every human being is born in a place where the potential to realize is there. This is the merits we have to be a human being, which is a rare existence. So it is in this existence that we have to be practiced, and it is this existence that we can come to hear of the Dhamma. Even the Devas, when they pass on, other Devas will remind them to be reborn in the human realm where Dhamma can be heard and practiced, because we see the both ends of, extreme wealth and extreme poverty, and we know there's suffering. So when we see that, we will practice. Okay.
Thank
Next
you,
question.
Dr. Ng. I'll put two questions together. One asks whether we can start with the whole breath and skip the first two steps of breathing long and breathing short. Another one asked if he couldn't still the mind or calm the mind on step 4, can he proceed to step 5?
Oh, right. So, so you want to bargain with the Buddha? You want to bargain with the Buddha, can I miss first and second step? So there's no bargaining with Buddha, right? Huh? You follow the steps. It's just, you need to follow the steps and appreciate it. Only after you appreciate it, time and time again, then you will know the brilliance of the Buddha. Now they say we don't stand in the stream with the waters is not the same. We stand in the stream, the waters that is running by us is not the same water. We are not standing in the same water. You get it? So we are also not breathing the same breath. Do not assume that your long breath is the same long breath. Every breath is different. So if you have the perception and that it's so boring, nothing is boring. It's just we have not a different perspective. Every sunrise and the sunset is different. It's up to you to see the impermanent changes and the beauty of it. So there is no sort of like miss a step, especially when you are starting on the training. So there's no ifs or buts, but the 16 steps. Then if you can't quiet your mind, it's very easy. You must appreciate it, and you quiet it during the pause. Because when you are breathing, you are contacting breathing. So when the breathing stops, you just say calm. Like when it's at the pause, you say calm. And you must feel the difference, no? Before you say the pause, the calm, and after, you must be able to differentiate. Only after you differentiate, no matter how small the differentiation, that you can actually calm your body. And after you calm your body, your breath is calm. And how do you know it's calm? It's softer, it's gentler, it's slower. And you will know it when you enter into the second tetrad. The breath is also softer, quieter. Because the Buddha wants to quiet the body, quiet the mental formation, the feelings, and then you can see the mind, and the mind objects clearly. So that is the purpose. So when you have tranquility, you will have the insight, because it's very clear. Like you're looking at a very clear lake. You can see the gems inside, down below the lake. So you have to like try it out. Every breath is different. So I think the 4 steps have to be done religiously. This one is about breath, so it doesn't matter whatever religion you are, but you must do it with a discipline, that you have to do it again and again, like training an animal, and this animal is yourself, because it's wild. You need to train it, to tame it. If it's not tame, you start wanting this and that, it's going to be wild. So you want to tame it, train it, quiet it down, that it now knows how to control itself. If it can control itself, it's out of Mara's grasp.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. I'll combine two other questions together. Can Dr. Ng elaborate on the difference between experiencing mental formation and tranquilizing mental formation?
Right.
And is experiencing mental formation vipassana?
Oh, right. So, mental formation in the previous talk, we have said mental formation, perception and feelings is equal to mental formation. Right. So now we just take feeling and perception because it's so fast. Feeling and perception is so fast. Then we take these two as mental formation. So we see feelings as mental formation. Right. We say this body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations. So in the end, each one, this is of the mind. The feelings and perceptions is equal to mental formations. So once you see the mental formations, so when you feel the first two steps, in the body being pleasant, the mind being pleasant, it's quiet down. It's not so agitated. Then the mental formations are called volitional formations. So before this, you will have volitional formations. That means your intentions, to just focus on breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. It's just like you are on a parade, a squat training. In, out, in, out, in, out. So for the first 4 steps, you are just doing this. And then for the next 2 steps in the Tetrad, you are also doing it. So there's a lot of volition. So there's a lot of force. So he asks you, this 3rd step of the 2nd Tetrad, experience the volitional formations. Experience this drive. Now when you experience this drive, you can feel the drive. You can feel the force. And you feel the force as if like a wind. He asks you to feel it like a wind, blow here, blow there. You feel it. So your bodily formation, mental formation. So because such drive has such force, so your bodily formation is quiet. Then the mental formation, there's this intention, right? To do it again and again, just put your mind. So you feel the mental formation. You experience that force. So that it's a strong wind. Now you want to say, the 4th step, quiet it down. Quiet this mental formation. So we must see it being quiet down. Quiet down, so the mental formation is quiet down. Once it's quiet down, you see your mind. You see your consciousness. Because it's all about the 5 aggregates. First the body, then after that the 2nd Tetrad is of these 3 components, and then the 3rd Tetrad is talking about the consciousness. So you experience it. So when you experience it, you savor it. You don't do anything. You are just experiencing it. You are staying on your breathing in and out and experiencing it. Then when the 4th step of the 2nd Tetrad, you have to be active. You have to say calm. And when you say calm, you notice that your word has power. The calm itself will calm down that mental formation. And you see for yourself that power whereby your mental formation is calmed down. When you can see the tranquilization of both the bodily formations and the mental formations through the practice, then you will know how to calm yourself in crisis. So this is not just like meditation, I just sort of like practice, but it is to experience it so that you can apply it. It is important to see the steps, all these steps, and it is also an ability to just say calm and it be calmed down. You can calm other people, you can calm animals, you also can calm yourself. And only when you can calm yourself, then you will realize that by doing so, you can escape from agitation. So it is a practice, and it just requires practice. And you see the changes yourself. Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Ng. We have 3 more questions.
Oh, 3 more questions. Okay.
Dr. Ng, if mindfulness of breathing can alleviate the pains of other parts of the body, in other parts of the body, how about people with breathing difficulties? How should they deal with it?
Breathing difficulties. So you see, when you are having problem with your body, you go to your mind. So now we want to teach you how to go to the mind. Okay? And then when you are detached, when you see breathing in and out, you are detached. You will just see like sunrise and sunset. You just see the breathing in and breathing out. So to see the breathing difficulty is to address your problem. If there is a breathing difficulty, you cannot just say, oh, difficult, 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 difficult. It's not like that. You must find the origin of the difficulty. Is this the smoke? Is it the haze? Is it something that you smelled? Is it something that is an allergic thing? You must find the cause and you settle the origin of the difficulty. If it's a chronic medical condition and it is something that you have lived with, then there will be a new norm for you. So then if it's a new norm and it's not affecting you seriously, then you will just watch it. You are still comfortable watching it, right? Huh? So we talk about if you have breathing difficulty, you must go and look for the reason. And now COVID has a lot of breathing difficulty. And if it's a chronic condition, and that this chronic condition has not flared up, so it's just chronic, there's no acute on chronic. If there's an acute on chronic, you must go and look up what is the reason for the acute episode. So we now talk about just chronic by itself. This chronic sati doesn't affect the function, you are quite comfortable, then you can just know that you are comfortable. So you just watch that breathing in and breathing out, as detached as you can. Right, so this is, then when we can address our feelings, as well as addressing the mind state. So when you are calm, the mind is a very, is a state, is bodiless. So when it's bodiless, it's free of the body. It can just watch in a steady state. It's not affected. So it's like a mountain that is steady, just watching the body. The mind and the body is not the same. So the person who is knowing that he has a chronic breathing problem will just watch that it is just the body, okay? And it just, this breathing is like that because of the damage that has been done to whatever part of the respiratory system. So the mind remains steadfast as it watches the body. And we say before, right, the mind is bodiless. It doesn't have the effects of the elements. So this is how you can not suffer from the bodily problems, of which breathing difficulty is one of them. There are many breathing difficulties. There are so many parts of our body that can be diseased, but the mind can remain not sick, but the body can be sick. I think there's a Mangala Vihara Sutta that says the mind is not sick. I think 22.1, if I'm not wrong. So you can see this SN 22.1, where the mind is not sick. The body may be sick, but the mind is not sick. Mind not sick. Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Ng. We'll take last two questions before we start lesson 4. I practice Ānāpānasati every day, but I can't control my mind and thinking. Also, after about 30 minutes, I'm feeling sleepy.
All right.
Or I want to fall asleep.
So to be able to see that you have a lot of thoughts is the first step. So when you recognize that you have a lot of thoughts, then you will try to stay on the breathing. So it's like, these are just passing clouds. So you don't need to get on the cloud or the bus. You don't need, no? All this will just come and go, come and go. Don't get too upset by it. Just see them as passing clouds. Just stay on your breathing in and breathing out. You should settle down. So first you must recognize. We first have to, what you call it, RAIN, R-A-I-N. The first step is to recognize. And then the second step is to accept. Especially after, a hard day's work and the engine is on, you cannot switch off. There is some engine still going on. So these thoughts may just linger on of what has just passed. So you just accept that this is the nature of the body and the mind, that there will be thoughts and it will settle down. It's just a training, right? If you can train yourself with a snap of a finger off the light switch, then it's off, right? But then we are in training. So when we are training, don't kick yourself. So if you can accept it, you are able to embrace it. Then you can carry on. It becomes positive. Then you will investigate. When you investigate that these are just processes, these thoughts are just processes, just come and go, right? Sometimes it's of what has happened in the family, in the workplace, or in the shopping mall, etc. So, or even the TV shows you see. So you come and go. Actually there is non-identity. Non-identity, that means there's no self. There's not a self, it's just a process. Just a process, so you just see it that way. This is a natural process. The natural process, then you will quiet down. Then once you train yourself well, then even after you train yourself well, there will be occasions where you can get also upset, depending on the attachment. Okay, so don't kick yourself. Just slowly, then you will enjoy it. Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Last question. Can you please explain again the topic on the self and the self-identity?
I think self and self-identity, in the sense that when we have, like for example, just now all those questions we feel, stressed or upset because there is an I. You feel that my body has this self. has this self, and that this self, whatever it is, there's a self, has this body. I have to deal with this body, and then with my feelings, with my mind. I have this mind. I'm the one having this mind. Why you tell me I don't have this mind, my body? Then who identifies? You identify me as Dr. Ng, right? So there seems to be a self. But then when the Buddha asks you to see very, very closely at your breath, which represents the body, then there's nothing permanent there. And he asks you to look at the feelings, there's nothing permanent there. It's empty. So he says this, the lump of foam. So you see very clearly, people think that this body is mine, this body is in me, and that it is integrated. This body is mine. But it's just nature. I'll grow old, I'll get sick, I'll die. This is the nature. And these feelings, perception, and mental formation and consciousness that comes with a human realm, with the body and the mind, is for this body to understand what it is contacting in the environment. So then it is just a process. Depending on certain conditions, the body will have this feeling, perception, mental formation and consciousness based on contact. And then after that contact, it's just like an amoeba, a single cell organism that will move, and when it experiences certain chemicals, it will sort of retract. If there's some food, it will go forward. So it's just, this body and mind is just geared for this. It's just a process. Because it has now this body and the mind. And this body and the mind is because of our ignorance, that's why we are here. Right? But if we see clearly, all this is changing. He says that the body, if you see clearly, is foam. So, like you breathe in and out, in and out, in and out. Which breath is yours? It's gone already, right? You can't hold on to a breath. And then if you say the feelings, based on the breath or based on certain things, you contact whatever food you eat, eaten in already, out it goes. The feelings have gone, but you hold on to that feelings, to the feelings that have gone. No, you contact, and the feelings have certain feelings, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. And on point contact, this come together to appreciate the contact. Then after that, you move to another contact, and then this again come. It's just a process, a process, a process. But if you see this, that this is mine, this is I, this is self, then you suffer because you cling to something that you cannot cling to. When actually all this, they cannot be clung to. Can you cling to your last breath? You can't. Can you cling to the feelings? It has changed. Because you have contact differently. So this is why it is a delusion that there is an I, there is a mind, there is a self. So if you examine very closely in the Ānāpānasati, this mind and body and feelings represent, this microcosm represent the entire system. This represents this body, this feeling, this mental formation, this consciousness, this mind represents what you see, represents the whole realms of existence. And there's nothing there. If there is something there, if there is these five aggregates, these five aggregates have to pass upon every contact. It goes. And if you cling, then you suffer. If you think that there is a self when there is no self, so he said clinging to the five aggregates is suffering. But we have to see that they are impermanent. Only when you examine it again and again, it's impermanent. There's no substance in it. There's no I in it. There's no mind in it. Then you let go. So, then in that sense, If you don't cling to something unclingable, you don't suffer. But if you cling, then you suffer. So because we cling to I, so we cling to this, we cling to all this, but we don't see this thing is impermanent. We don't see this as suffering. We don't see this as non-self. If we isn't, I isn't. There's no I actually. There is, this is not. But if we think that there is, then you suffer. Fortunately, it's impermanent. So that suffering can come to an end. So that's why the Buddha says in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, clinging on to the 5 aggregates is suffering. It's not the 5 aggregates, it's the clinging. But you have nothing else but the 5 aggregates to cling to, because this is what we are endowed with. So this is, there isn't anything. So consciousness is like a magician. Right? He thinks that there is something, there isn't.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Related to this same question, if mental formations is equal to feelings and perception, why is mental formation one of the 5 aggregates? I thought the 5 aggregates are mutually exclusive. Right.
So when you have perception, so it's very, very fine. When you perceive something, you still have a mental formation. I perceive blue. I perceive breathing. You have to perceive breathing, right? I have to think I'm breathing. So there's a mental formation. I perceive and I think. I feel and I think. I feel this is pleasant. I have to create that mental formation. This feeling is pleasant. So in other words, perception and feeling, there is a mental formation. The problem with us is that this contact has just this mental formation, but we then create the second thought. Then we start the train of thoughts. When you sense something, you just sense. So sensing require your mental formation. So they explain is conjoined. All this is conjoined, not disjoined. But now when we do our tetrads, you quiet one down to see the second. You quiet the second one down to see the third. You quiet down you liberate the third to see your mind objects clearly. So so the thing here is this, you have 3 in 1, I think it's a great job. I don't have to look so hard. I just look at mental formations. And I don't look at feelings, because feelings have this emotional thing about it. Pleasant, and then you're very associated with lust. Unpleasant is associated with aversion. If I detach and I just look at, this is mental formations. This is bodily formation, and whatever that passes through is mental formations. You can accept this and practice even better. But if you are going to be nitty-gritty, then you might just tie yourself in knots. He provides you with a method that allows you to free yourself to see things as they are, and then he tells you the essentials. So if I want to quiet down my feelings, if the feelings come up forefront, I'm very angry or something, it's a mental state because of something, but this is an unpleasant feeling. So you can just say, hey, quiet down. Hey, calm down. So you have actually, in one sweep, you have swept all of them. And the perception is that you see something, then you think, oh, this is a mirage. I better look again. So he cautioned you. So this thing come up to the forefront. So then, after mental formations, when you start thinking and thinking, giving yourself a headache, hey, I better stop this. So you know which one you are dealing with. Each one will stand up and you have to use your wisdom to counter each one of them. Because each one of them giving you problems. Then you say, hey, calm down. Hey, steady, you know. Hey, breathe in and out. So this thing is disturbing you, go breathe in and out. Look at your posture. See whether you are having that posture of looking at a beautiful girl and you're going to spill the oil, you know. So you want to go there and then look at here. Steady, 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 steady your head, and see things as they are. So this is how you want to use what the Buddha teach you. And don't get too caught up with the wordings and all that. His method of doing is allow you to come out of suffering. You can see the brilliance of this timeless teaching that at that time were able to release, you know, so many people. And now it is still timeless. And if you just see it, accept it, use whatever you can for your own benefit and welfare. So the steps is something that can be seen and be experienced. I think we better go on, man.
Lesson 4.
Any more? I think
No
it's
more.
about quite okay. Right. So today's topic is about MN74. To Dīghanakha. So why I chose this particular sutta? Because this is the sutta that tells how Venerable Sariputta gained enlightenment to arahantship. So this sutta says about comprehending feelings. So he realized arahantship. So we know Sariputta is the chief disciple of the Buddha, foremost in wisdom, second to the Buddha, and that he understood the entire Dhamma through feelings. So I like to bring your attention to this particular sutta, MN74. To Dīghanakha. Dīgha means long, Nakha means nears. So this is a wanderer, and this wanderer has long nails, but his name is Dīghanakha. Now, where is the place? So the place is at Ball's Cave, Rajagaha. And the people are the Buddha, Dīghanakha, and Venerable Sariputta. So Dīghanakha, the wanderer, came to the Ball's Cave at Vulture's Peak at Rajagaha. And after the preliminary courtesies, he told the Buddha his practice. He says his practice is, nothing is acceptable to me. So his practice is, nothing is acceptable to him. That is his doctrine. Then the Buddha asked him, isn't this view you have is acceptable to you? Then he said, so. Then, but the Buddha says, but this nothing is acceptable is closer to Nibbana. And then he then says, there are other views. So he talked about views. Then he says, everything is acceptable to me. It's close to lust. Everything is close to lust. Nothing is acceptable, you will have a form of restraint. Everything is acceptable, no restraint. Then there's some people with a view, something is acceptable and something is not acceptable. So there are these views in the world. Currently there's still these views in the world, right? Nothing is acceptable, lockdown, nothing goes. Everything is acceptable, no lockdown, everything can go, right? Something is acceptable, partial lockdown. So there are views. There will always be views with people. But then he says that some people with a view then says that if I hold on to this view, I will clash with the other. If that clash, then we will quarrel. There will be disputes. Then that person says, the ascetic will say that, I don't want to have clash or quarrel or dispute. I will drop my view. And I don't take up another view. So the Buddha proposed this to the Dīghanakha. So Dīghanakha then accept that yes, he will drop this view and not take up another view. But before that, he says so right. Although that this is acceptable to him, it's a view actually acceptable to him, then he changed his mind. So it says that when Dīghanakha abandoned that view, then the Buddha can talk about body and feelings. So he talked about the body. He says this body is just made of 4 elements. No air, and there's the wind, the earth, the water, and then the, what else? Fire, temperature. Then after that is procreated by your parents, fat or milk, and then later rice and porridge, etc. So we have this body made of 4 elements. And this body will grow old, will get sick. And then he says it's a dud, it's a disease. So he talked about the body. Then after that, he talked about feelings. There are 3 kinds of feelings. So he said pleasant, unpleasant. So you have pleasant feelings, painful feelings, and then neither. Then he says when you have pleasant, you would not, on the occasion that you have a pleasant feeling, because you have a contact with a contact that is pleasant, you will not feel the other 2. And similarly, if you have a painful feeling, you won't feel these other 2. And if you have neutral, you won't feel the other 2. So this is what he says. And it is agreeable that on only one contact, there is one feeling. The mind can only go to one place at one time. Okay. Then he went on about these feelings. These feelings are dependently arising. Dependently arising on what? On contact, right? So if contact is impermanent, how can feelings be permanent? The body is impermanent. How can the painful feelings be permanent? Right, yeah. If contact is impermanent, how can pleasant feelings be permanent? And so on and so forth. So feelings are impermanent, suffering, and non-substantial. If you see feelings as impermanent, suffering, and non-substantial, would you want to cling on to it? So we have been clinging on to this. That's why we are ignorant. That's why we are here again and again. But because it isn't, I isn't, then you don't want to be caught up in your feelings and puppeted. You know, you are like a puppet, pull here and pull there by your feelings. So he says, stay middle. Avoid this painful or pleasant. Stay middle. Stay neutral. Stay even-minded. So he can say, he says this too. And because you know that they are impermanent, so you are disenchanted with it, dispassionate with it. If you are disenchanted and dispassionate, then you are liberated. And once you are liberated, he says, the mind that is liberated does not side with anybody over views. Does not say, I'm with you, I'm against you. Once you have views, you have mental formations. You have mental formations, Mara can see you. So you have to know feelings very clearly. And it goes on to say that as the Buddha talked to his nephew Dīghanakha, Sariputta was fanning the Buddha, and he was listening to this discourse given to his nephew. And he considered that the Buddha knows this directly for himself. And knowing it directly for himself, that he abandoned this directly. As he contemplated on this, Sariputta was said to be free from clinging. So this is how Sariputta attained arahantship. So isn't it good? So on feelings, why based on just feelings he can become an arahant? Because this whole thing is swiped out. Because no more clinging to feelings, because all these are conjoined, not disjoined. So that's why you can say, then you wonder, how come Sariputta can realize by just letting go of feelings? Because all these are conjoined. So you can see, then Sariputta realized arahantship, and Dīghanakha, his nephew, realizes stream entry. Because anything that is subjected, anything that is subjected to arising is also subjected to cessation. So anything that arises will cease. Feelings that arise will cease. So you have to see it for yourself. The breath cease, the feelings cease, the mental formations, fade. And it ceases in the perception of feelings, cessation of perception and feelings. So here, it ceases. So it may not be complete ceasing, but you can see stop and release. So you can see it. So the Buddha says, ignorance is beginningless. You cannot see it, but you can see cessation. You can see anything that arises will cease. Your feelings arise and cease. You remember your childhood toys. Do you still have that yearning for your toy? Your Hello Kitty or whatever? Your bubble tea or whatever? Do you have this yearning for childhood toys? So you can see that ceased. So you know that feelings have ceased, have stopped. And then you have to see the taints to cease is sense pleasures. Sense pleasures, views, and becoming. Becoming this in the future, this or that, So when you're very caught up, you're not in the present. So he says, the taints of sense pleasures, views, becoming, cease with the arahantship. The ignorance will also cease. So you also can see sense pleasures ceasing. You have certain sense pleasures that doesn't matter to you. Then certain views you just let go. Then becoming, we now know COVID, there may be no becoming. So don't get so built up on the future. So here, he tells us this based on feelings. And once you have quietened down your mind, then he asks you to experience the mind. So this is experience only, passive, like watching the sunset. Okay, what is the mind? After I quiet down the mental formation, what is the mind? You just experience it. So the mind, if you are conscious, is like a light bulb, right? Then you see, the light, the bulb, the mind is how? Just experience it. Is it bright or dark? Is it a dimmer? Is it get brighter or is it get darker? You just see the mind. You see its borders. You just check out as you check out a house or anything you investigate. You look here, look right, look left, look up, look down. How many dimensions? You just investigate. So you just experience the mind. Then after that, he asks you to gladden the mind. So gladdening the mind is a mental formation, isn't it? To gladden something. I have to intentionally gladden the mind. Actually, this thing flows. If you just keep on the breathe in and breathe out and just watch the mind, it actually flows. But if you say gladden the mind, then it's a mental formation of sukham. So we said suffering, right? So this suffering is sankhara. So you think, sankhara is like formation. So you can tell yourself, instead of dukkha sankhara, you can change that sankhara to sukha sankhara. You can say, be glad. Then you see how the gladdened mental formations come about and gladden the mind. Then when it gladdens the mind, when you are joyous, the mind gets lifted up. So you have an uplifted mind. So when you're uplifted mind, it becomes serene. So the first two tetrads already tranquilize the body, tranquilize the mental formations, the feelings. The third, when you say gladden the mind, it further gladden the sort of quiet down further the mental formation, and the mind gets uplifted. Then when it is uplifted, then you concentrate the mind. Concentrate the mind has the characteristics of serenity and non-dispersal. So you must be quiet and serene, then you can concentrate your mind. You don't want to hammer, some people want to concentrate. It doesn't work that way. You see he asks you to concentrate the mind. So the mind concentrate, then it will liberate the mind. So the Buddha says like you gladden the mind, it's just like a lotus coming up and you gladden. So you deliver your mind like that. Children get delivered from below. This the mind delivered, in this way. So you liberate the mind. So today we will just, if have time, we will just do the first two. Okay? I think this sutta was just to explain some characteristics of the mind. Consciousness is considered a magician. Okay, I think we shall start now. A lot of talk for an hour, so we just quiet down. So you find your empty space, and then you sit down, make yourself comfortable, and you must have metta for yourself. The Noble Eightfold Path requires you to have right understanding, and then the right thoughts is that you renounce sense pleasures, you don't be greedy for anything in your mind. Then you must have metta, that means non-ill will to yourself, non-cruelty. You don't beat yourself up for things, you just sort of like enjoy yourself. So now the posture is that you cross your legs and then you put your back straight, and then you have your mindfulness in front of you, like having a mirror in front of you. Your head is not tilted down, neither looking up. You are balancing like a bottle or a container of oil, and you are going to be mindful of the body. You go to your breath, and you just breathe in and you breathe out. So you're comfortable with breathing in and breathing out. In, out. And you just put your attention to just your face, parimukha. You put your attention to your face, your mind gets lifted up to your face level. Then you just watch your breath, in and out. So we are in the middle path. You're breathing in and out. Your attention is in the middle. The mindfulness in front, your head upright. You breathe in gently, long. And breathe out long. Just experience the air on the upper lip. Your attention only on the air, nothing else. Disregard the brightness or the feelings, just the air, the breathing in and out. Then the breath gets shorter and you know you're breathing in short. Breathing in short, you know you're breathing in short. out short, you know you're breathing out short. Every breath is a new breath. Stay on the bodily formations of breathing in and out. Step 3, let go, just experience the entire breathing in process and the entire breathing out process. Its beginning, its end, and the pause. You see the pause clearer if you follow the breath to its end, the ending, or breathing in So the pause is a nice place to rest, but you can see that the pause also changes from one breath to the next. keep your mindfulness in front. Keep your head upright as you are balancing something on your head. And you're just looking down on breathing in and breathing out. Learn to enjoy the entire process of the breathing as well as the pauses. You notice that the breathing will change depending on the conditions. So the fourth step, you just notice the breathing and then you quiet the breathing. That means breathing calm, directed at the bodily formation. Meaning the breath. You want to see the tranquilization. You breathe in. At a pause, you say calm. So breathe in, calm. And breathe out, calm. And you notice for yourself the increased calmness. There's a difference before and after the fourth step. Now we go into the second tetrad. Make sure your head is upright. Mindfulness in front. Know where you're breathing in and breathing out, sighted, middle. Then breathing in, experience the feelings in the body. Generally, the breathing in and breathing out, the bodily feelings are pleasant. Breathing in and out. Check out the feelings in the mind. The pause is a nice place to check out these feelings in the body and as well as the mind. Now we do the seventh step. Breathing in, experience the mental formations. Anchor yourself at the breathing in, the bodily formations, and just watch the mental formations. Stand at the bodily formations of breathing in and out, and just watch the mental formations like winds moving from one part of the body to the other. Are they passing in front? Are they passing at the back? Just watch. Stay at breathing in and breathing out and watch. You have that view. So the mental formations are whatever sensations felt. So now the 8th step. So you feel whatever sensations that are felt, the strength of the wind. Then you say, calm down, calm the mental formations. Already the bodily formation of breathing in and out is calm, is centered, and what is moving around Going across is the mental formations, so you just calm the surrounding. Breathe in, calm. Breathe out, calm. So you can feel the discernible difference before and after step 8. It may not be totally calm, but calmer. And then it flows on into the third tetrad, to step 9. Breath, bodily formation is calm. Mental formations is calmer. Then you see the mind. The mind is then seen beyond the mental formations of sensations. Remember, the mind is bodiless. So you see above the mental formations. Now breathing in and out. Breathing in, you experience the mind. In its brightness or darkness, or different degrees of brightness and darkness. So you can see bodily formation, breathing in, breathing out. And some mental formations quieten down. I still feel it, but what that is not of the body or the mental formation is the mind. See how it extends above, below, the side, breathing in, just experience the mind. Breathing in, and go on to gladden the mind. Step 10, breathe in, be glad. Breathe out, be glad. You can say words like happy, whatever. So the next few minutes, you just breathe in, happy, and then you experience not just lip service, but experience it. Always anchor on your breathing in and out and experience gladdening of the mind. it actually naturally flows to the next step where you concentrate the mind. When you see the gladdened mind, you just keep looking at that gladdened mind, breathing in. Just look at that gladdened mind. Like touch the gladdened mind. Concentrate is like just touching your handphone, the icon like that. Just touch it. When you touch it, the screen may change. When you touch the icon or the mind, you must see the effects that it has. Stay on your breathing in, breathing out, and concentrate. Concentration has the characteristics of serenity and non-dispersal. The last step is breathe in, liberate the mind. You can say liberate or let go. When it's liberated, it means it's not confined to the body. It's technically liberated. If you only feel partial liberation, you just direct your mind to that part that seems to be limiting. Or you can just focus on just the mind itself. It will liberate like a well-hatched chicken. You can say words like free, be free, let go, whatever words that go for you, or that feeling of freedom. Where you feel an openness. So it's a natural progression from one step to the next. Don't need to try too hard, otherwise you strain yourself. It's just a very natural process. So I think we have 5 minutes to 5. So then you just bring ourselves back. Feel the thumb on the seat. Feel your entire body. And slowly open your eyes. You must try to have a good habit of settling yourself back to the body before you sort of move.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. We'll just take a couple of questions. The rest you can post it for next week when we have lesson 5. The first one was, any difference if we do breathing longer or shorter? I think Dr. Ng has explained that. Any difference keeping every breath the same?
It doesn't matter as long as you know the breath. And then the in and out, you think it's the same only, but you just, as long as you know. So it's a relative, you see. Long and short is relative to each other.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Someone asked whether after the mind is quiet, I saw lights of different colors. Should we continue to watch the breath or concentrate on the lights?
We should just watch the breath. So the lights are just another mind base where you just see the lights. And it is said by, it can be quite enchanting and quite entrancing to see the lights because it's beautiful, right? So the Buddha says in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta of these Lichavians, he says if you haven't seen the gods of 33, then the Lichavian youths look like that. And how do they look? They all have color code. They have white headgear, white makeup, white earrings, white necklaces, white clothes, white shoes, whatever is white. And then they have red, everything red, or blue or green. And so Tawatimsa heaven, the Devas, also have a dress code color. And sometimes if your mind go to that space, sometimes you may see a lot of colors. So, but we don't want to get stuck there. So we don't want to have our mind base stuck at a certain level. So whether you went to Tawatimsa is hard to say. But that the Tawatimsa Devas are said to be very colorful. And the different lights, different color lights are like that Tawatimsa heaven. So the problem is that some people get stuck in the lights. They enjoy the lights and they can't move on. So being enchanted, they get entrapped. And so they stay in that state for a long, long time. So don't fall into that trap. We take the breath in and the breath out. And the mind will elevate to other bases. The Buddha says that there are 4 things that would make one sort of mad, like karma. You can never know karma, and that you cannot know the powers of the Buddha. You cannot outthink what the Buddha can do. And the other thing is, he says, it also drive you crazy if you think about the mind states or the mind bases, because there are so numerous mind bases. It's just to know that these bases are impermanent, and that as you breathe in and out, the mind can get elevated to other mind bases. Bases are like base camp of a mountain. So you do a base camp, you stay there, and then you enjoy and you forget to come down. And every time you meditate, you just go to that base camp. So you may get stuck in that base camp and never go further up. So there's a danger. So the gratification is enjoying it. The danger is that you get stuck in it. So you continue to just breathe in and breathe out. Stay on breathing in and breathing out. And the mind bases, you see it changing. The most important is that to see the mind bases changing. And then don't cling to any mind base at all, because they are all impermanent too. Just like your breath, just like mental formations, like bodily formations, the mind bases are also impermanent. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Why is it important to bring awareness back to the body before ending the sitting meditation?
Oh, it's just to have good habits. Sometimes you do not know where you go. So sometimes people move on to the Arupa world. The Arupa world where there is no body felt. But in that world there is also thinking. It's just no body only, just the mind. And if you get distracted, you didn't put your mind back into your body before you come out of your meditation, then your you will experience tremendous headache because your mind is pitched high up and not settled back to your body. And so you will become not functional because it's so painful. The headache is so intolerable. And you may just end up in the monastery or a nunnery where you feel most comfortable doing the meditation most of the time. So there's good habits to always settle down yourself to the mind base of the mundane mind base so that you do not get into any troubles at all, where your mind get pitched up. So this is a very good and very important habit to have your mind settled back to your body properly, then you come out. Okay?
During the last step, when we liberate the mind, we let go of our breath, mind, and body. Is that right?
So the instruction, you always look at the instruction that is written in the Ānāpānasati Sutta, which I hope you all refer to time and again. And the instruction is breathing in, liberate the mind. Breathing out, liberate the mind. So you have to be in your breathing, let go, breathing out, let go. Right. Okay.
How long should our meditation be? During this COVID period, we have isolation time, but when the circuit breaker is over, it may be different.
This practice is not dependent on COVID. This practice is for your own benefit and welfare. Even when the circuit breaker is over, you should practice it daily. If not once a day, if not twice a day, then at least once a day. And preferably in the morning, the start of the day, where you can power up and charge yourself properly with mindfulness. So the minimum time for the day will be 30 minutes. If you can do longer, it will be better for your health.
The last question, can I shorten every step? What is the difference between doing it indoor and outdoor, doing it with yoga, eating, or when exercising?
So breathing in and breathing out, you shorten according to your own time management because we do not know how much time you have. So you can decide what the amount of time you want to put in. If you want to experience fully each step, then you organize it such that you don't have to do something. If you have something at the back of your mind is occupied by that object, and so you cannot concentrate fully. It's good to be free of any, you know that there's a certain amount of time you'll be free, so you can fully enjoy whatever you are doing. So all the steps you have to manage on your own. There's no prescriptive time. It is to experience it for yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. We shall end there with sharing of merits. Let us share the merits that we have accumulated in this meditation and Dhamma session to all sentient beings.
Etavata ca amhehi sampatam punya sampatam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Etavata ca amhehi sampatam punya sampatam sabbe butta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Etavata ca amhehi sampatam punya sampatam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya.
Let us share the merits with our departed relatives and friends.
Idam me nyatidam hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idam me nyatidam hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idam me nyatidam hotu sukita hontu nyatayo.
Let us close by paying homage to the Triple Gem.
Arahan Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Avivademi Bao Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhamman Namasami Bao Supatipano Bhagavato Sanvaka Sanho Sangham Namami Bao.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.